Great.
Welcome to another Okiru podcast. And man, is it this? I swear, this week. I mean, even this whole month has been crazy.
Mm,
Like a lot of things have been happening, and I feel like a lot of people are struggling, especially with this lockdown compared to other ones.
mm.
So, how you doing, man?
Oh man, like you said, it's been a crazy week, month. For me, I've been losing track of time,
Mm,
just being stuck at home.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, but
it really
pushing
has
through it,
been. Yeah.
pushing through it.
We
Mm,
got it, man. We have to push through it, right? Like
mm,
we let's be real. Let's be real with this episode, man.
mm,
Uh, like the past few days has, like as you said, time. I've lost track of time as well.
mm,
And there was a point a couple of days ago where I was just thinking, what am I doing with my life? Type of thing, right?
mm,
And you feel lost a bit because nothing feels it's the way I feel it's like we should be living life like this.
mm,
It's weird to think that if you want to see someone you care about and love, you feel like a criminal doing so.
yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way.
Mm,
We should be able to see each other, see our loved ones, and make sure we can check on each other physically. Like a screen it doesn't feel the same. That's why
mm,
with these virtual podcasts, I don't want to do them, but it's our
mm,
only option right now.
mm,
And it's the only way we can really create content with each other,
mm,
right?
mm,
And yes, I don't want, I know I'm not going to let this break me down or any of us is going to break us down because we're in this together, right?
mm,
Like we have to get through this.
mm.
Imagine what life would be like once we overcome this, or if we this will ever pass. Who knows?
Mm,
But
mm,
yeah, it's just been so surreal, honestly.
mm. Yeah, and yeah, like you said, we it's hard living so apart from everyone. And yeah,
Mm,
you do have those technologies to call and do Zoom and see them through a screen, but it's a completely different thing being able to be with that person, especially those that you really like want to be there for.
yeah,
It's a completely different thing. And just to be able to give them a hug or something like that.
right.
Like that's the biggest thing like right now. Like you can't even physically hug someone. That's the
Exactly.
thing. And it's like, yeah, you just lose a lot of that personal. I don't know what the right word for it, but the warmth. Yeah, but
It's that is that connection you feel as well. Like on during the week in work, I saw a friend of mine
mm,
and a workmate of mine, and her mother was in hospital, and then on that same day, I just saw her break down in tears,
mm,
and I was like, man, something's happened, obviously, and
mm,
it's not good. But what can she do, right?
mm,
And then the next day, I just gave her a big hug,
mm,
just because you know, if when you someone's in pain, that's sometimes the best thing you can do is just be
mm,
there for someone. Is just embrace them
mm,
and let them know that you're not alone, right?
mm.
You
Yeah.
know, we're here for you. We're here to just give love, and you just feel that. You feel that appreciation when you hug someone when they
Mm,
need it.
yeah, no, for sure. Thinking about it, I wasn't actually a big hugger ever,
Me
and
too. Me too, man.
but that feeling of when you get it, it's that warm feeling that you need that embrace. It's
Yeah.
like you just need it. Like the last
Exactly.
time like when we saw each other in person, how we gave each other that massive hug.
Yeah,
And I
man.
and I told you like, yeah, I really needed that
Mm,
because being isolated and being away from so many people and not seeing, you and all the people that I love
mm.
for so long, having that connection back again by
Yeah.
just hugging and feeling that, um, you know, just through a hug that they're there for you, you know,
Mm.
that feeling, it's there.
Exactly.
Mm,
As I said, sometimes it's all we need.
mm,
Sometimes nothing has to be said. You just need to just hold someone in your arms and tell them, I'm
mm,
here for you. And that's what
mm,
a hug means, right?
mm,
And
yeah.
we can't even do that. We can't
Mm,
even do that to the people we care about, the people we love, because we fear of some sort of, fine or consequence that shouldn't even really exist
mm,
when you're seeing someone that you care about, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it kind of sucks.
Mm. Yeah, it's too much. I know there's a lot of these um, taking sides of
Mm,
anti-vaxxers or anti-protests and things like
mm,
that. Like I understand both sides because in this situation, we're going through a lot of stuff,
yeah, definitely.
and people are not going to be able to, like, it's affecting people's mental state.
It is.
It's people. You can't keep people locked up like in this
Mm,
type of thing because people just will lose themselves, especially if like the resilience hasn't built up throughout the years and you've kind of just not say an easy life, but like you haven't gone through as much, and this happens. You got to completely like not have the mental resilience to take care of yourself,
exactly.
and and yeah, I think there's been a lot of um, focus on you know making sure this thing keep it under control and stuff like that.
Mm,
But there's the fact that there's not much about taking care of your mental
yeah,
stuff as well. Like
100%. I agree with
yeah,
that. And you know what? There's no focus on those care about your physical health, care about your mental health. It's all about the.
mm,
I'm not trying to throw shade at these people for getting medical advice or medical professionals. All
mm,
I'm saying is we can't only rely on medicine itself
mm,
for us to stay healthy, right?
mm,
We need to keep our physical bodies healthy and our
mm,
mental healthy,
mm,
because even
mm,
without those things, if you only have one, you're only reliant on medicine,
mm,
but you're eating like crap. You're eating all this junk food, eating all these terrible food that is doing no good for you, and you're not even exercising. What do you expect?
yeah,
What are you going to expect to happen?
mm,
Right. So, and the past few days has been such beautiful weather, and
mm,
we can't even go out
mm,
to go to like a nice hike or go to a mountain, to see the beautiful ranges that Melbourne has.
mm,
And it sucks, man. It
mm,
sucks that we are only limited to the suburb, but obviously we have to take advantage of it, right?
mm,
Go for those walks, go for those jogs, and
mm,
work out where and when you can.
mm,
But it's not the same as seeing the beauty of Mother Nature. I know I sound like a hippie, right? But
mm,
we can't take those things for granted. And
mm,
that's what I'm realizing now, being stuck in this house, in our rooms is, man, I just want to be outside
mm,
on the beach or in the forest,
mm,
in the woods, just be out there, right?
mm,
You
mm,
can't even experience that.
mm. Yeah, just be out in nature,
Exactly.
especially because we live in the suburbs and stuff like that. There's not much to see other than other houses and
Right?
concrete roads and stuff like that.
What have you been doing to help you stay sane through this whole thing? Because I feel like this lockdown is even for me, it's breaking me down,
Mm-mm.
and it's killing me, man. It really is.
Mm-mm. Yeah, nah, same, man. For me, the thing that I've been trying to do is do meditation every day. Just every morning, I try to wake up as early as
Mm.
possible, and because I know I'm gonna be inside my house for a majority of the time, I'll just stay outside and just try to absorb the sun,
Yeah,
getting that vitamin D, you
that's
know,
it, bro.
yeah, and just doing breathing exercises for myself.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing that's keeping me calm, and because a lot of the time I'm just agitated just because, in my mental state, I'm locked up in a room,
Mm.
and that doesn't do any good for me because I feel like, a prisoner of my
Exactly.
own self, and just like, okay, I'm going to stay here. Yeah. So I'm slowly like losing my mind, but
Mm.
having that meditation in the morning, it's helped me at least calm down and, you know, try to, and yeah, that's the other thing. In the morning, I try to say whatever the things that I'm grateful for, the
Mm.
things that I do have. So that kind of sets me in the right mind track for the day.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I try to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really good, man.
Yeah.
I remember I used to do meditation a lot, and
Mm,
I haven't been doing it as much, but in those periods when was it a few days ago when I was just lost out of my mind,
mm,
I just I went on a walk without just complete silence, no technology or anything,
mm,
just stuck in my own head, and
mm,
then I was exercising in silence too, stuck in my own head,
mm,
and putting myself in those situations without technology,
mm,
and you just have those mental conversations with yourself,
mm,
and I find that it helps as well.
mm,
And with meditation, I try to do that practice as I go about my day,
mm.
because what is the essence of meditation? Pretty much it's putting focus on the present, right?
Yeah.
And taking back all the distractions and being where you are right now.
Mm,
And I heard from this one guy, and he said, and it hit me. I was kind of I was shook when he said it. He said that meditation is a practice that you shouldn't only rely on when you have to be in silence and close your eyes. It's something you do consistently, just
mm,
doing those breathing exercises while you're doing the things. And I've been trying to do that practice now, and it's
mm,
helped. Like even when I'm at work and I begin to get my own thoughts and I lose myself, I have to stop and be like and be present and say, all right, I gotta focus on my breathing. Take me back to the present. Because that's
mm,
what often we do, right? We're stuck in our own thinking.
mm, mm.
We're stuck there, and we allow our own thoughts to halt us from doing a lot of things,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
And it was just a crazy thought to me. Sometimes we are our worst distraction, our worst enemy
mm,
because of that.
mm,
And our thoughts, they're not us. Our
mm,
thoughts are the things that happened through circumstance, through situations, and our mind is just constantly running.
mm,
And we believe that our thoughts are us.
mm,
But really, it's we have to come back and know what our values are. And
mm,
if those thoughts don't align with our values,
mm,
does that really mean our thoughts is us? Right.
mm, mm,
So it's being able to know ourselves and being able to have those deepened realizations and deepened reflections about ourselves that help us to overcome these things.
mm.
But yeah, I just wanted a
Mm.
tangent there.
No, no, that's good. That's good. Well, so what other things have during your meditations and your constant meditations have you realized, or what has
One,
been revealed? Yeah.
oh man, oof. One realization I had the other
Mm,
day is the way we word, the way we use verbiage is
mm,
so important.
mm,
And it's through that we can really create that right mindset, right?
Mm.
So initially, because of something that happened at home,
Mm.
and being the youngest person, with everyone being so emotionally triggered and charged,
Mm.
I had to step up and be detached from the situation.
Mm.
And I had to pull myself away from it in a way that allowed me to think logically and
Mm.
find solutions, right? As opposed to being reactive to every action that was happening.
Mm.
And the day after that happened, I woke up in the morning and I just felt so numb.
Mm.
I was just empty, like
Mm.
nothing, no feeling at all, like no soul.
Mm.
And I hadn't felt that in a while, right? I haven't had that feeling in so long, probably since I was last depressed, or I
Mm.
was lost in that deep, dark ditch of
Mm.
depression, right?
Mm.
And it kind of hit me on that way to work. On the way to work, I was just thinking, why? Why am I not feeling anything?
Mm.
And I had this question: have you ever cared about someone but not cared about them? Have you ever had that feeling?
Cared about someone but not cared about them. What does that mean? What do you
Like, it's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
It's I care about you. I want you to be alive,
Mm.
but I don't want to be the one who takes care.
Mm.
I don't want to be the sole person that is the sole carer for you,
Mm.
right?
Right. Yeah.
That's I guess that's how I could put it.
Mm.
And then I realized that I'm not numb, because that's not who I am. I'm
Mm.
not someone who dis discredit not discredits, but who doesn't care. I care enough for the situation,
Mm.
because I'm a person who's compassionate.
Mm.
But I was able to detach myself and change that wording of being numb to being emotionally detached and
Mm.
being emotionally aware.
Mm.
And I say that there's a difference between being numb and emotionally aware.
Mm.
When you're numb, you don't have feeling.
Mm.
When you're emotionally aware, you understand
Mm.
that if I'm going to be emotionally in this moment, in this situation, I'm not going to be able to have the best outcome,
Mm.
because I'm acting from my emotions.
Yeah.
And I always come back to that saying: emotions are great indicators, but terrible dictators,
Mm.
right? Because emotions are kind of like a biased reaction to a certain circumstance.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's why it's hard for that. It's hard
Mm.
to be able to act on emotions, but you
Mm.
have to be aware. That's why I was saying the wording. I had to change the wording for myself,
Mm.
and that made me aware of what I was feeling, as opposed to just discrediting what happened
Mm.
and discrediting all those feelings, which I'm not a person who does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even as males, man,
Mm.
we have to be able to acknowledge and be aware of our emotions and not throw them away.
Mm.
We have to be able to embrace our emotions,
Mm.
because that's what we do. We have that masculinity, right?
Mm.
And that's why we become toxic, because we
Mm.
don't allow ourselves to feel that way, because we see it as a vulnerability of being weak,
Mm.
and it doesn't show who we really are. But really,
Mm.
when you allow those emotions to reveal itself, that's when you're truly showing who you are. But you have to
Mm.
show it in a way of assertion, and not
Mm.
in a way of weakness. There's a
Mm.
difference.
What's the difference?
So the difference would be, instead of, when you're feeling sad, or
Mm.
you're feeling, you just want to break down, and and cry. We don't show that, right? As males, we want to hide that because that would reveal our weakness.
Mm-mm.
But if we say it in a way where, hey, I'm feeling this way right now, I'm feeling down,
Mm-mm.
I feel this deep sadness in me.
Mm-mm.
And when you allow your tears to flow it's something you reveal with the right people,
Mm-mm.
but it's something you have to be assertive of it. Like, these are my emotions
Mm.
and I'm controlling it. I'm not letting my emotions control me.
Yeah.
Right? That's a
Mm-mm.
difference. When you control your emotions and not your emotions controlling you.
Mm-mm. Mm.
That's how I would say the biggest difference is.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Mm. Like,
that's
so having that
yes,
intention and being aware of your emotions and not just letting it burst out of control.
exactly right. Not letting
Mm-mm.
it burst out of control.
Mm-mm.
You're controlling of it. You allow yourself to say it. And like with you,
Mm-mm.
whenever we have those conversations, I'll be like, hey man, I'm not feeling that great.
Mm-mm.
Stuff has happened and
Mm-mm.
I do feel hurt. I feel
Mm-mm.
sad,
Mm-mm.
right? I
Mm-mm.
feel like everything's breaking down.
Mm-mm.
And I feel like I have to be that strength,
Mm-mm.
right? Because I'm a male. I have to be strong, right?
Mm-mm.
But I don't be like, hey man, like, I'm
Mm-mm.
not saying that's a bad thing,
Mm-mm.
but I'm saying you need to be able to be like, I'm not a right,
Mm-mm.
and this is how I'm feeling, and you own it. You own that emotion,
Mm-mm.
right?
Mm-mm.
And that's something I could never do before.
Mm-mm.
That's something I never did before. I'll just let those emotions cry, like, happen, and then just let him go out because it feels good, right? It was like
Mm-mm.
you just. But
Mm-mm.
when you're able to control it and be aware of it, now that's when
Mm-mm.
you have that crazy realization.
Mm-mm.
Like, I have full control of myself.
Mm-mm.
I have ownership of my entire being. But yeah, it's something I was reading. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Jason Wilson.
No.
Um, he's an incredible man, and I listened to his audiobook, Cry Like a Man, because I heard him from Joe Rogan, and he was just talking
Yeah.
about that masculinity and how to be a better person, because and just hearing it and being able to control your emotions, right, and
Mm-mm.
not like, not ignore them,
Mm-mm.
but you can't be that person who allows it to overcome you. You
Mm-mm.
have to learn to master your emotions, and it takes time
Mm-mm.
to do that. It takes practice,
Mm-mm.
and it takes a lot of self-awareness, like what you're doing with your meditation.
Mm-mm.
That's you, not as a coping mechanism for what's happening, but you to find
Mm-mm.
that control in yourself.
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to let my breathing do it by myself. I'm going to control my breathing.
Mm-mm.
That's what being in the present is, right?
Mm-mm.
I'm going to control the rhythm of my breath. I'm going
Mm-mm.
to control what happens in my mind. And sometimes you'll hear in the meditation videos, they'll say, "Oh, let your thoughts
Mm-mm.
come as they go, and then come back
Mm-mm.
to the present. Focus on your breathing." It's
Yeah.
all that process. It's all those little things that is going to help us to bring self-awareness to ourselves.
Mm-mm.
But that's it. If I were to recommend the book,
Mm.
The Cry Like a Man was a really good one, because it talks about that masculinity and
Mm-mm.
just how you can be the best male, I guess,
Mm-mm.
and be able to cry
Mm-mm.
like a man.
Mm-mm.
That's why it's
Yeah.
called that, right?
Mm. It's
Yeah.
hard, yeah, for men to release that emotion completely. Like, or not completely, but like just to show it,
Mm.
because yeah, we've been born into that society, you know, showing that men can't cry because they'll show weakness. And but yeah, I think it's a more courageous thing to show
It
that
is.
you are vulnerable.
It
Like,
is.
you have those emotions, because obviously everyone has that emotion. Everyone's gonna feel sad.
Yeah.
So other than like, because men, we don't want to show vulnerability,
Mm.
do you think that's the only reason why we don't show that emotion? We don't show like that we're hurt or
That's a good one.
Mm.
I guess just talking from like my perspective,
Mm-mm.
like I can't speak for every man out there,
Mm-mm.
but sometimes we have to choose when we reveal our tears. You don't show up to everyone.
Mm-mm.
You show up to the people that you trust, that you love, that you care about.
Mm.
Because then when you do that, you obviously create that connection, that trust that this guy is opening up to me.
Mm.
So I think we don't do it just because of vulnerability, that we're afraid to show our chinks in the armor.
Mm.
I think we do it because sometimes someone has to be the rock, the strength.
Mm.
And sometimes we cry
Yeah.
alone,
Mm-mm.
right? So that no one sees us doing it.
Mm-mm.
Because let's say in a whole group, if you're all emotionally charged and everyone's crying,
Mm-mm.
you're all emotionally being you're all emotionally like,
Mm-mm.
I guess, acting out of that.
Mm-mm.
And someone needs to be that rock for everybody.
Mm-mm.
Someone needs to be the person that is strong enough to hold everybody together. And
Mm-mm.
that's the sacrifice we have to make sometimes as men, right?
Mm.
Is we don't want to allow our partner or our family
Mm.
to feel like this person can't take care of me, to take care of
Mm-mm.
us.
Mm.
That's what I think. But
Yeah.
what
No,
the heck,
yeah, I
Dylan?
agree with you. Like, I think in that situation, if everyone's crying, it's kind of a hard thing to for other people, because if someone comes to you and they're crying,
Mm.
and you start crying, like, yeah, of course you're gonna have that emotion.
Yeah,
But if you're able to control it, because they're coming to you because they need some sort of reprieve or like relief.
exactly.
And if you start crying, they might feel like, oh my gosh, I've started crying. I've put my burden onto this other person. Now I feel bad. It's,
Yes.
you've almost
Even
added
that.
on that additional
Yeah.
guilt to them. And
Yeah.
that's even worse than, for that moment, just being able to control yourself. And
Mm.
yeah. Mm,
Exactly. Having that control, right?
mm, mm,
I mean, there are some times when you have those deepened conversations with someone and you're talking about your own struggles,
mm,
to help normalize theirs.
mm.
Sometimes you can't help a tear coming out,
Yeah, yeah.
but it doesn't stop you from speaking in a way that's assertive, speaking in a way that is, I know my feelings.
Mm,
It's controlled, it's very composed.
mm,
There's a difference between that and someone who's uncontrollably crying because of their struggles.
mm,
So, what about you?
mm.
How do you? Because you are one of the most resilient people I've ever met, and
Oh,
I'm not even
no,
joking,
no,
bro. I'm not even joking, bro.
no.
I'm not even joking. Like, seriously, man. Compared, like, with all the struggles that you've been through and the tough stuff that you've had to overcome,
Mm,
you're still here.
mm,
You're still standing. You're
mm,
still pursuing something, man.
mm.
How were you able to do that? What kept you going?
Oh. I guess for me, I've always had these little things that pushed me, like have happened to me,
Yeah.
that built up my resilience slowly,
Mm.
to the point where I'm able to take on those bigger times that something's happened to me.
Mm.
I've been able to kind of push through it, but it doesn't mean that, yeah, I've been able to handle it on my own
Yeah.
either. There's times where it's been so hard for me that I did isolate myself, and I went through it for a very long time, but I was able to reach out to people, and that's when I was able to get out of those moments. I had to reach out. Other times, I had to figure it out on my own. And yeah, I think the thing that was pushing me the most was I knew that it was going to get better.
Mm.
I've experienced it enough times that I know that it's going to come to me and it's going to come hard. I mean, it's going to break me down,
Yeah.
but eventually it's going to pass. And what's on the other side is something even more that's going to make me stronger.
Mm.
And that's how I've always kind of looked at it. Anytime I go through something, it's just gonna be something that's gonna make me stronger, more resilient.
Yeah, that's definitely a good mindset to have.
Mm,
Just being able to see that there is this too shall pass, pretty much, right?
mm, mm,
Like as all things, the good and
mm.
the bad, they're gonna
Yeah,
pass, right?
yeah, yeah. And that was the one thing ages ago that when people say, oh, it'll pass and the rest will be good, but it doesn't. It'll come. It'll come back,
Yeah,
and then it'll hit you hard again, and then but you always get out of it. Like things pass, good things and the bad things.
yeah,
Mm,
definitely.
mm,
It's similar to when my friend asked me, "Are you out of the tunnel yet?"
mm,
And I pretty much said, "Man, there could be another tunnel once you exit,
mm, mm,
right? No one knows. All we see is the light, and that gives
mm,
us hope,
mm,
that little speck of hope to
mm,
keep on going forward.
mm,
But we can't expect things that once this terrible thing has happened in our life, that it's gonna be rainbows and unicorns for the rest of it.
mm,
And I love this. I spoke to my mentor about everything that was happening,
mm,
and he said to me this one line that just blew my mind.
mm.
And he said, "Don't let your chapter become your story."
Ooh,
And I was like, man, that is so true. We
mm,
can't let this chapter of our life be
mm.
the rest of our story.
Yeah.
We see these movies, how it's a story of struggle and then happy ever after.
Mm,
That's just a chapter. What's
mm,
the next chapter? Who
mm.
knows?
Yeah.
So we can't allow these things that's happening right now to
Mm,
define the rest of our story.
mm.
We have to
Yeah.
make those decisions every day, right?
Yeah.
Those decisions. What am I gonna do that's gonna help me move forward?
Mm,
We have to stay focused on that
mm,
because I'm talking to myself here as well. I can't be focused on what's happened in the past,
mm,
right? And expect it's kind of like that sunk cost fallacy that we talked about last week,
mm,
right? You've already made the investment, you made the loss. So
mm,
why are you acting on your decisions based on that,
mm,
right? Why are you acting on your future decisions based on something that's already gone?
mm, mm,
And that's what memories are. That's what the past is.
mm.
It's stuff that's already gone. We've already invested the time in it.
Yeah.
So why are we allowing those things to halt us, to stop us from the next thing?
Mm,
And yeah, that was just that just
mm.
blew my mind because it's
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
simple line that just
Mm.
makes so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I got shivers when you said that.
Yeah, I got shivers too. As
Yeah.
he said that, I was what?
Mm,
That makes it's so simple, right?
mm. Don't let
Every
it be your ending, man. Don't let it be your ending. Yeah.
exactly,
Mm,
exactly. I don't know about you, but when I was going through that dark time,
mm,
I thought that was the rest of my story. I thought that
mm,
was it.
Yeah. Same, man. Yeah.
But look where we're here. We're here now, right?
Mm.
We're on the next chapter,
Yeah.
literally on the next chapter.
Mm,
Every day is a new page.
mm,
It's up to us what we're gonna write in it.
mm.
So yeah, that just went through my mind. It's
I
crazy,
like
man.
that. I like that.
Yeah, man. One other thing that got me though, I was listening to a podcast,
Mm,
and it's a good reminder as well.
mm,
And you know that saying, put your mask on first before you help someone else. It makes sense, right? We have to
Yeah.
help ourselves before we can help someone else.
Mm-mm.
But what is that mask plugged into?
Mm.
What's the source?
Mm.
What source is helping us to help others?
Mm-mm.
That's the other thing we have to realize. Is it
Mm-mm.
just us that's helping ourselves?
Mm-mm.
Right? That's what we do sometimes. We're stuck in our own thought. That
Mm-mm.
sometimes we have that egos. I have to do this on my own.
Mm-mm.
How the heck are you supposed to help someone when you're plugging
Mm-mm.
your own mask in your own breath?
Mm-mm.
That mask is plugged to a source, right?
Mm-mm.
Something. So what
Mm-mm.
is our source? What is that source that is
Mm-mm.
feeding us that sustenance to stay alive, to help us move forward in life, and
Mm-mm.
allowing us to help others? It
Mm-mm.
was just something I had to just think about. What
Mm-mm.
am I feeding
What?
myself?
Mm-mm.
Right.
What would be one of your sources of thing?
Oh man, you guys, 100%. You guys have been there from the beginning.
Mm-mm.
I think without you guys, I wouldn't be where I am. And then also the mentorship has also helped me a lot because it's put me on a track where I I'm given resources and
Mm-mm.
tools to use, like books, podcasts. I have to read those. We have to read those things.
Mm-mm.
One thing I learned is when I wasn't reading, I
Mm-mm.
felt like I wasn't helping anybody,
Mm-mm.
right? Because the water you drank yesterday, isn't
Mm-mm.
going to be enough to hydrate you today. So
Mm-mm.
that's why that habit of reading or listening to whatever that helps us, it's
Mm-mm.
so necessary for us because that needs to happen constantly. It has to be a habit.
Mm-mm.
And that's why I attribute my growth, the things that
Mm-mm.
I plugged into with
Mm-mm.
you guys, with that group,
Mm-mm.
it's because those two things help me
Mm-mm.
to be where I am. And
Mm-mm.
without you guys, I probably wouldn't have this.
Mm-mm.
And then without this, I probably wouldn't have this mindset. It's a lot of things, man.
Mm-mm.
Right?
Yeah.
If I didn't have one or the other, I wouldn't be in the right place.
Mm-mm.
I need both,
Mm-mm.
just like I need water and I need food to
Mm-mm.
continue to survive.
Yeah. No, I'm grateful that I was able to connect with you and, JP, and have that connection
Yeah,
between us. Because yeah, it does help having that tight knit of group of people that you can trust and compound in, and help you and support you and understand, and not give you any judgment for the stuff that you're going through. And yeah.
exactly, man.
Mm.
Exactly. And we all have to find that group of loyal people who's gonna be with us
Mm.
regardless of what happens. Right.
Mm. Mm.
But what about you? What is your would you say is your source?
Well, yeah. Other than you guys, of course, because you guys one of the most important sources. Yeah, I think like knowing that I have to be be there for my family.
Yeah.
uh, that's probably one of the biggest things, because yeah, I know we talk about, like, that having that guilt of having to support your family and stuff, but yeah, my family's done a lot for me.
Mm,
The more I think about it, like every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, you know yeah, I'm just grateful for
yeah.
the for the stuff that they've done.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm.
I'm the same. I'm grateful for my family too.
Mm.
And sometimes you don't always show that gratitude,
Mm.
and we don't. That's one of the things I suck at. Right? Is just we could be better. Right? We can
Mm.
always be better as
Mm.
a son, a daughter, a father, or whatever.
Mm.
We can always be better,
Mm.
and we're gonna make mistakes, man.
Mm.
And but I always love them with all my heart.
Mm.
And yeah, look, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be
Mm.
here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
With the decisions they made.
Mm.
So we have to be grateful for that every day,
Mm.
right?
Mm. I think also one of the other things, of course, is just like feeding myself with things that are just not just like junk that you
Yeah,
consume on the TV, or
yeah,
like just things that really I mean, they're great entertainment if you
It
want to
is.
watch them and stuff like that. But like at the same time, like yeah, try to feed your mind with things that are going to give you value in your
Right.
life. Mm,
Exactly. And
mm,
that's one of the biggest problems with our time today
mm,
is we're so busy being entertained,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
We have our phones, we have computers, we have Netflix, we have everything to entertain us.
Mm,
How and I go back to that question. When was the last time
mm,
you, you know,
mm,
spent time just with yourself without a phone or just
mm.
in a place where you don't have any technology around you?
Yeah. Other than that meditation time, and I guess that's like a probably like a 30-minute or
Mm.
so meditation. The rest of the day is spent with technology.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That that's 30 minutes. That's 30
Mm-mm.
minutes out of 24
24
hours,
hours. Yeah.
right? It's crazy to think that we rely on these things to stop being bored
Mm,
and
mm,
we never allow ourselves to be bored anymore. We're
mm,
bored because of entertainment. How
mm, mm.
crazy is that?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I was bored because
Mm.
I got over the toys that I was playing with, or I didn't
Mm,
have
mm, mm.
friends outside to play 40-40 home base or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
remember those times when you just go out on
Mm,
the street and just
mm. Yeah.
play with your friends, your
Yeah. Yeah.
neighbors? Oh man, I miss that.
Mm, mm, mm.
When do we do that anymore?
Mm, mm.
We always have something on us. And that's why I really want to read this book, The Comfort Crisis, is because it talks exactly about that.
Mm, mm.
How we take so many things for granted. And he was talking about how when he was on the plane to Alaska, right? He had the worst coffee, had the worst shows on the TV, had like a really crappy toilet,
Yeah.
and then he spends a month in Alaska, and then he's on the way back on the plane, and he says, "Man, that was the best coffee I've ever had. That was the best toilet,
Mm,
so
mm.
comfortable, and the shows were great."
Mm,
That
mm.
change of perspective, right?
Mm, mm.
It's it's so crazy to think.
Mm,
And
mm.
like it's like what you're doing with your gratitude every morning.
Mm,
We have to find those things that we're grateful for.
mm.
And if we start the day like that,
Mm, mm.
how good is it if the rest of the day when we can find the gratitude in the smallest things?
Mm, mm. No, definitely. Because I only started doing it recently. I did it a little bit before, then I started getting back to it. Because yeah, after all this, my mindset started going breaking down. Yeah, like one of the things I did before was really bad for me. Like how you wake up, and I wake up and I look at my phone straight away,
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't need to do that. Like I look at my phone and I look at my emails. I'm like, okay, that's what I have to do today. Oh man, it's just a struggle to get up just because I'm
Right?
yeah. And I was like thinking, like even before I was on the computer, but so I had something else in the background. I'll put on a TV show, but like because I know I'm not going to concentrate on it much, I'll just put whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, why do I need to do that? I'm doing something. I'm already in front of a screen. Why do I have to put on another thing?
Exactly, man.
Yeah, it's
I
it's
do that too, bro. I do that too. You're not you're not the only
mm.
one. Don't worry. But it's just crazy to think, man, that
Mm,
we keep ourselves entertained, and then there's so much junk that is on these things.
mm,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
mm. You know how people are moving away from like bigger, larger cities like LA
Mm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's just too much noise.
Right.
There's just too much noise happening. Like it dulls your senses. You don't
Does.
you don't realize how much like if you live in that kind of environment every single day, you get used to all that noise and craziness and all that
Yeah.
stuff like that. You kind of lose yourself as well.
Yeah, you do.
Mm,
I just,
mm,
remember those days when we
mm,
used to, go on those trips, right? And we're just
mm,
listening to music and we're
mm,
just together. We're just
mm.
together, right?
Yeah, we'll stay there outside in the sun for
Yeah.
ages and just be with each other, talk and
And we just entertain ourselves. We
mm,
don't have this urge to look at our phones or anything. It's just
yeah,
the
yeah.
company that we have, right? Just
Mm,
just talking and
mm,
actually having these discussions that we never thought we would have had,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
Mm.
it's a tough time. All of us are struggling.
Mm.
Um, and I just know that whoever's listening to this, your struggles aren't you're not struggling alone.
Mm.
Um, we gotta check up on each other, man. We have to just
Mm-mm.
make sure we do our homie checks and see if
Mm-mm.
people are doing all right.
Mm.
Because imagine if we were going through that, how good would a message feel as, "Hey, how you doing, bro?"
Mm.
I'll be like, "Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks
Mm-mm.
for checking up on me. Thanks for sending that message."
Mm-mm.
That's all we have to do sometimes.
Mm-mm.
Just ask that question.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Anyway, that's the Okiru pod. We got into a deep discussion about what's going on in our lives and I guess the rest of the world.
Mm.
Um, Hope you guys stay safe and thank you guys for continuing to listen to our podcasts and supporting our brand, especially in these crazy times. Um, we're here for you guys. We're here for an ear. If you guys just need someone to listen, feel
Mm.
free to hit us up and we'll do our best to get back to you. And make sure you check on each other, check on your friends, your family, just
Mm.
everyone you care about, man.
And we really do mean it. If you guys ever need to DM us or message us, we don't just say it just
Yeah.
for just for the sake of saying it and
Yeah.
to appear like we're good people or anything like that. We're
Yeah.
saying it because we actually are there because we know
Yeah.
how hard it is to struggle by yourself. So
It is. It is, man. And we seriously love meeting some of you guys.
mm,
And we have these just random discussions about whatever you
mm,
guys are doing. That's awesome. Continue to pursue it. Continue working towards your goals and achievements.
mm,
And don't let these things stop you from continuing on. That's it.
awesome.